When did your parents' biggest fear nearly cost them everything? My parents were absolutely terrified of water. They acted like swimming pools were death traps waiting to happen. Uncle Thomas drowned in a boating accident when I was a baby, and my parents decided that meant no one in our family should ever learn to swim. Not them, not me, not ever. I was 18, and the only person in my grade who had to sit out during pool parties. While my friends were doing cannonballs and playing water volleyball, I had to make up ridiculous excuses. Oh, I have a chlorine allergy, or my doctor says I have sensitive ears. The truth was way more embarrassing. My parents thought swimming would kill me. Mom would constantly forward me articles about drowning statistics. Did you know drowning is the second leading cause of death for teenagers? She'd say, as if staying away from water made us immortal. Dad was even worse. He installed a whole home gym in what could have been a pool space, proudly telling neighbors, why would we want a drowning hazard in our backyard? They didn't even know how to swim themselves. They wore life jackets on paddle boats at the park. Paddle boats, the ones that barely move and are in 3 feet of water. When my school announced swimming was part of PE, my parents got me a medical exemption claiming I had a respiratory condition. The gym teacher knew it was bull but couldn't do anything about it. But my best friend Maya's mom was a swimming instructor at the community center. She thought my parents were being completely irrational. This is dangerous, she told Maya. Not knowing how to swim is what gets people killed. So she offered to teach me secretly during her lunch breaks. Twice a week, I told my parents I was doing SAT prep at the library. Instead, I was learning butterfly strokes and treading water. Maya's mom taught me everything. Proper breathing, different strokes, even water rescue techniques. I kept my swimsuit in Maya's gym bag and showered extra long to wash away the chlorine smell. For 6 months, I lived this double life. In water, I felt free and confident. On land, I had to pretend water terrified me. The worst part, I was actually good at swimming. Maya's mom said I could have made the school team if my parents weren't so paranoid. Then came Dad's company picnic. His boss specifically chose Lakeside Pavilion, and attendance was strongly encouraged, which in corporate speak meant mandatory. My parents tried everything to get out of it. Dad claimed he had a wedding that day, then a funeral, then food poisoning. His boss didn't care. So there we were at this beautiful lake, my parents sitting as far from the water as physically possible while still being at the event. They set up under the covered area, practically hugging the parking lot. Mom kept watching me like a hawk whenever I walked anywhere near the shore. Stay back from the edge, she'd shout if I got within 20 feet of the water. I was talking to some work friends' kids when I heard Dad yelling. Mom had walked onto the dock to call me back, probably worried I was too close to danger. The old wooden board gave way under her feet. She plunged straight through into the deepest part of the lake, at least 12 feet down. The sound she made when she hit the water was pure terror. Mom couldn't swim. She was panicking, flailing, gulping water. Dad stood frozen on the shore screaming, somebody help her! But he wouldn't move. He couldn't move. He was shaking, tears streaming down his face, watching his wife drown because he didn't know how to save her. The other adults were at the barbecue area, too far away. The lifeguard was on break. I didn't even think. I just ran and dove. The water was colder than the heated pool I'd learned in, but my training kicked in immediately. Mom was thrashing wildly, pushing herself deeper. I approached from behind like Maya's mom taught me, avoiding her panicked grasp. I wrapped my arm across her chest and started swimming toward the dock's ladder. I got you, Mom. Stop fighting. I got you. She was sobbing and coughing up water when I finally got her to the ladder. Dad had to pull us both up because Mom's legs were shaking too badly to climb. She collapsed on the dock, clinging to me and crying. Dad just stared at me, then at the water, then back at me. How, was all he managed to say. His face was white. How long have you been? 6 months, I admitted. I've been taking lessons for 6 months. Mom was still gripping my arms. You saved me. I was going to. She couldn't finish the sentence. Dad's shock turned to anger. You lied to us? For 6 months? His voice cracked. Every Monday and Wednesday at the library? If I hadn't lied, Mom would be dead right now. I shot back. The crowd of coworkers stood watching. Dad's boss put a hand on his shoulder. Your kid just saved your wife's life. Dad's anger crumbled. He dropped to his knees beside Mom, pulling us both into his arms. We could have lost everything, he whispered. That weekend, our whole family signed up for swimming lessons.